Share 63, Buster and Mike V. Appearances can be deceiving. A few weeks before I went to rehab and got sober, a friend of a friend named Buster took me to a meeting, which I was pretty hungover for, and which I drank after. That was my one and only attempt to get sober before actually getting sober. But this guy is still at meetings, and he was only 3 or 4 months sober when he brought me to that one. Anyway, whenever I see him, I think about how far we've come. After I got sober and moved to the mountains, I didn't see him at all. One summer, at about 10 or 11 years sober, I bought a motorboat and reappeared in Newport, Rhode Island, which is where I got sober, with my English pointers. One day, I anchored off a beach in the spot where the waves were breaking. And I looked at the beach, and there was Buster. But Buster was wearing this leopard Speedo bathing suit and had huge, bulging muscles. He looked like Mr. Universe. I thought to myself now how he looked so different that maybe he got away from meetings and had not been talking to his sponsor so regularly. He was quite a spectacle. I thought of the woman in the fur coat at Rugby Road with the shifty eyes, who had not been to a meeting for a year. Then I thought, I wonder what he thinks of me anchoring in rough water, coming ashore with these hunting dogs. There were no other boats moored, anchored in the waves, no other dogs on the beach. Maybe I was equally a spectacle. Later I realized we were growing in different areas at different times, and how different outward appearances as we recover, and have different outward appearances as we recover. I still see Buster around, and it's always a pleasure. He's got a few months more sobriety than I do. I've learned not to judge his program. Another incident comes to mind at the Sunday night Third Step meeting in Palm Beach, Florida, at the Seagull Cottage. An acquaintance from Newport visits the meeting. He shares with all of us at the meeting how he knelt in front of a lit candle holding hands with his sponsor during his Third Step meditation, and how his life and serenity are such and such now as a result of this good quality Third Step. After the meeting, I said we could go back to where I rented a home, so I could show you the house I rented, So we put my bicycle into the back of his Jeep. In the parking lot, as he started up his Jeep, Ozzy Osbourne was on full blast on the radio, and I thought, what kind of peace and serenity is this? Then he said to me, let me turn that down a bit, but it was still pretty loud. As we drove off, I noticed how fast and potentially dangerously he drove for someone who had this great brand of spirituality and serenity. Just as our disease is manifested in different disguises, our recovery has many guises. We all grow in different areas at different times. I still hugely respect that great Third Step which he did.